She said it was just a business trip. Hi Reddit, throwaway account, for obvious reasons. I never thought I'd be one of those guys posting here, but I'm sitting in a half-empty house that doesn't feel like mine anymore, and I genuinely don't know who else to talk to. My friends, well, you'll see why that's complicated, so buckle up because this is a long one. My wife Anika and I, we're that couple. The ones who met in our last year of college and just clicked. We struggled together through our early 20s, eating ramen in a crappy apartment, and celebrated every tiny victory. We built a life. A real, solid, beautiful life. We bought a house 2 years ago. We have a golden retriever named Gus who is currently looking at me like I'm the saddest thing he's ever seen. And he's probably right. About a year ago, Anika got a huge promotion at her marketing firm. Director of National Accounts. I was so damn proud of her. It meant more money, a better title, everything she'd been working for. The only catch was travel. Lots of it. Chicago for a conference, Denver for a client pitch, San Francisco for a quarterly review. At first, it was fine. Exciting even. She'd come home buzzing with stories, and I loved hearing them. I work from home as a software developer, so my life is pretty routine. Her trips felt like our window to a bigger world. The first little crack appeared about 6 months ago. It was so small I almost missed it. She was in Miami for a team-building retreat. I was paying our Amex bill online and saw a charge for a restaurant called Lamar. I Googled it, super high-end Peruvian place, right on the water. Looked incredibly romantic. The charge was for $350. I remember thinking, wow, the company is really treating them well. But when she got home, I asked her how the retreat was, and she mentioned they'd all just ordered pizza to their hotel rooms because they were too exhausted from the workshops. I didn't even mean to catch her in a lie. I just said, oh, I thought you guys went out. I saw a charge for that fancy place, Lamar. The change in her was immediate. Just a flicker of panic in her eyes before she smoothed it over. Oh, right. A few of us did go out the last night. I was just so tired I forgot. It all blurs together, you know? It made sense. It was a perfectly reasonable explanation. But for the first time ever, it didn't feel true. It felt constructed. I brushed it off. I told myself I was being paranoid and insecure. My wife was a successful, beautiful woman, and I needed to trust her. But once you see a crack, you can't unsee it. You start looking for more. The late-night texts started. She'd be sitting next to me on the couch, and her phone would light up. She'd angle it away from me, a quick little smile on her face as she typed. When I'd ask who it was always, just Priya from work. Logistics for the next trip. Her trips got longer. A 3-day conference in Seattle would turn into 5 because she had to stay and finalize the deal. I started feeling this gnawing anxiety in my gut. I hated the person I was becoming. The guy who watched his wife like a hawk, who felt a knot in his stomach every time her phone buzzed. I felt pathetic. But I also felt like I was going crazy. Was I imagining all of this? Was our distance just a normal part of a long-term marriage? I mean, I wasn't perfect. I worked long hours. Sometimes I was tired and just wanted to zone out and play video games instead of asking about her day. Maybe she was right to be distant. Maybe I was the problem. The breaking point came last month. She was heading to Austin for a, quote, major tech summit. She packed her bag, gave me a kiss that felt more like a formality than anything else, and promised to bring me back some good barbecue sauce. The night she left, I couldn't sleep. I was just lying there, staring at the ceiling, feeling this cold dread wash over me. I did something I'm not proud of. I opened her laptop, which she'd left on the desk in our home office. We shared an Apple account, so everything was synced. Photos, messages, the works. I'd never, ever snooped on her before. It felt like a massive violation. My hand was shaking as I clicked on the Photos app. And there it was. The photos from her recent trips weren't of conference rooms or corporate logos. There was one from Miami, a selfie of her and a man on a hotel balcony, the ocean behind them. His arm was around her, and she was leaning into him, looking happier and more relaxed than I'd seen her look in months. His face was partially obscured by her hair. There were photos from Denver, the two of them hiking, laughing, clinking beer glasses at a brewery. In every picture, it was just the two of them. No team. No, Priya from work. My heart felt like it was going to beat out of my chest. I scrolled and scrolled, my vision blurring with tears. It was an entire parallel life. A life of romance, travel, and adventure that didn't include me. And the worst part? The man. In a picture from Seattle, he turned his head just enough for me to see his profile. It was Marcus. Marcus, my best friend since we were freshmen in college. The best man at my wedding. The guy who helped me move into my first apartment, who I called for advice when I was going to propose to Anika. The guy whose wife, Leah, was one of Anika's closest friends. He and Leah had been over for dinner 3 weeks ago. He'd sat at my table, drunk my beer, and asked me how Anika was enjoying all her work travel. I think I actually threw up in the office trash can. It wasn't just a betrayal, it was a demolition. He wasn't just a random guy, he was the one person on earth, besides her, that I thought I could count on for anything. He was family. I spent the next 2 days in a haze. I didn't eat, I didn't sleep. I just waited, the rage and the grief churning inside me into something toxic. When she walked through the door on Sunday night, smiling and holding up a bottle of barbecue sauce, I felt nothing. I was just numb. "Hey you," she said, dropping her bags. "I'm exhausted. Austin was a whirlwind." I didn't say anything. I just stared at her. She must have seen it on my face, because her smile faded. "Leo, what's wrong?" "How was your trip with Marcus?" I asked. My voice was eerily calm. The color drained from her face. I've never seen anyone look so guilty, so trapped. She opened her mouth, but nothing came out. "Don't bother lying, Anika," I said, my voice finally cracking. "I saw the pictures, Miami, Denver, Seattle, all your little business trips. Was any of it real?" She started to cry, but then something shifted. The tears of guilt turned into tears of anger. "You went through my things?" she shot back. And then she flipped it. Oh God, did she flip it. "You want to know why, Leo? Because I was lonely. You're here, but you're not here. You're always in front of your computer. Or you're tired. Or you're distracted. When was the last time you asked me a real question? When was the last time you looked at me like you actually saw me? Marcus sees me. He listens. He makes me feel alive." I was stunned. Every point she made was a tiny kernel of truth, wrapped in a massive, poisonous lie. Yes, I had been distant. I had been stressed with work. I wasn't the perfect, attentive husband I was when we first got together. But the leap from that to a year-long, calculated affair with my best friend, it was insane. She was using my flaws as a shield for her betrayal. "So this is my fault?" I screamed. "My fault you chose to lie to me every single week and sleep with my best friend? The man who stood next to me when I promised to love you forever?" The fight was ugly. We said things you can never take back. In the end, I just pointed to the door. "Get out." "She's been staying with her sister for the last 3 weeks. I haven't spoken to her, other than a few texts about logistics. I haven't spoken to Marcus at all. He's tried calling, texting. We need to talk. But what is there to say? I heard through a mutual friend that he told Leah. Their marriage is over too. So that's 4 lives she and A, business trip, blew up. So here I am, sitting in this house, filled with ghosts of a life I thought was real. I look back on everything, every I love you, every shared laugh, and I wonder what was real and what was a performance. Did I miss the signs? Absolutely. Did I contribute to the distance in our marriage? Probably. I wasn't perfect. But I've learned that your own imperfections are never an excuse for someone else's deception. You don't fix a crack in your marriage by secretly taking a sledgehammer to the foundation. I don't know what I want out of posting this. Advice, maybe. Or maybe I just needed to tell someone the full story, from start to finish. To get it out of my head and prove to myself that I'm not crazy. It really happened. It was all a lie. TLDR, my wife's frequent business trips were actually romantic getaways with her affair partner. When I confronted her, she blamed me for being emotionally distant. The twist is that the other man was my best friend of 15 years. Now everything is gone.